Hello and welcome to Ignite Your Sexuality with me, Sarah Rose Bright, where I'm sharing videos that contain amazing and inspiring and practical tips and how-tos to support you to ignite your sexuality and to enhance sex pleasure and intimacy in your life. And this comes from my decade as a sex pleasure and intimacy coach, and it's my delight to share these with you. In this video, I'm going to share a really common myth that I see, and this myth is that sex should just be telepathic, that you shouldn't have to speak, that you should just know what your partners or lovers like, and they should just know what you like. And if they don't, there's something up. So if this sounds familiar to you, then please stay tuned. So I'm going to talk about the truth of this, and I'm also going to talk about how to change this if this is something you're experiencing. So first of all, just to say there are times when sex can feel like it's telepathic, that you just know what to do next. It just totally flows. But often people are not experiencing that, the people that are coming to me, and they might be actually putting up with sex that doesn't feel that pleasurable. They might know what they don't want, but they don't know what they do want, or they're trying to enjoy what they're getting but not enjoying it and wondering why, or they're not communicating it when they're not enjoying it, or they don't know how to communicate it. And often people have this belief that sex should be telepathic, that sex should just happen like it's an automatic function. And they maybe even fear that talking about it because they don't want to be perceived as not knowing, or feel that somehow that reflects on them as a lover if they have to ask if if their partner's enjoying it. So if any of this resonates, then sex is something that needs to be cultivated. Great sex for many people doesn't just happen. It's something that there's a quote somewhere that great lovers are not born, they're learned. They learn. And so it takes time to cultivate great sex, and especially after maybe the initial heat of the connection has subsided, it's even more important. So, in terms of telepathic sex and this myth, I always give this example. If I go to a restaurant with my partner, I don't choose what they want for dinner, and they don't choose what I want for dinner. If we're at a restaurant, we'll sit and look at the menu and we'll decide. We might know what we want before we get to the restaurant. We might not have a clue. We might sit down and go, I fancy fish today, or this pie looks really good. Or you might, so, and it's the same with our pleasure. And just as you might go to a restaurant and tune in what you want today, what you want tomorrow might be different. What you want in 5 minutes might change. And so that's going to influence your interactions with your partners. So why do we do it when it comes to the bedroom? Let our partner know, like just hand over unconsciously our responsibility for our pleasure to our partner and say, well, you should just know without speaking about it. And then imagine this telepathic sex is going to be working, because it ain't. So what is true? So what is true is that my pleasure is my responsibility. My partner's pleasure is their responsibility. And when we take responsibility for our own pleasure, we come together in a very different starting place. And it's about co-creating an experience together, speaking up for what feels good. If the pleasure's going in a direction which doesn't feel great, how can we navigate it to something that does feel good? Well, that's going to take often some communication or some form of feedback, whether that's verbal through words or whether it's non-verbal, for example, guiding a hand. So it's not necessarily about a running commentary through the sexual experience, but it's also not about having no conversation whatsoever. And I had a couple come to see me once. They'd been together for 40 years and they'd never spoken about their sex life. And something happened that caused them to want to talk about it. And it is no wonder 40 years they weren't enjoying sex, because they never spoke about it in the bedroom. They never spoke about it at all. So that's quite an extreme example, but these things do happen. So how do you transform sex so that it's not just a thing that we think we should just know what to do? So first of all, we have to have a mindset of learning, that we need to learn about our own pleasure. We also need to learn about our partners or our lovers' pleasure. And if we have this mindset of learning, that 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 then that just changes everything, rather than this belief that we should know, we should be great all the time, and that sex should just be telepathic. So secondly is to not make assumptions. So for example, if your partner says, I'd love it if you go a bit slower, I'd love it if you touch me a bit firmer, not to just assume that your interpretation is the right one. So you check in, is this what you had in mind? So that you're fine tuning the experience all the time. And it's that fine tuning that takes, that can create a much, much more richer and enjoyable sexual experience. And then talk about these experiences as well. So there's the communication to I'm going to do more videos specifically on communication because it's such a massive topic, but also to really get curious, about why people enjoy certain things. So for example, if somebody loves kissing, this happened with a partner the other day. It's like, if your partner loves kissing, or your partner really responds to a certain thing that you do, ask them, why do they enjoy it? Get curious about it, because for example, one partner might like kissing because kissing is their absolute turn on, and really arouses them. Another person might love kissing because they love the sense of connection. Another person might love kissing because it helps them relax. There could be many different reasons why somebody likes kissing. So to actually dig down and find out what your partner enjoys and why they enjoy it, again, rather than just this myth of this is how it is, and well, not even a myth, it's just an acceptance of this is how it is. I should like kissing. I should like this, because maybe they don't like it, and that's another thing to explore. So just having lots of conversations. So I really hope this has challenged the belief that sex should just happen without any communication, if that's something that is true for you or that you've experienced. And I hopefully this gives you some things to start to shift this, and even just the shifting of the belief of thinking of understanding that there's another way, and understanding the importance of communication. I work with so many people where once they start to communicate, it totally changes how they experience sex. It really enhances their connection and their intimacy. They just didn't know they could, or they didn't know how to, or they didn't have a language for it. So thank you so much for listening. And if you've enjoyed this video, then please like it, please comment, please share. Please sign up to my YouTube channel as well for future amazing videos like this. And also there's my newsletter link below where you can get a free gift and access more incredible content from me. So thank you so much for watching, and I really appreciate it. Enjoy your day.